Welcome to the virtual public involvement presentation for the US 18151 Auxiliary Lane project in the city of Verona. Project information is being provided virtually so you can remain involved and up to date on the status of the project. If, after viewing this presentation, you have comments or questions about the project, please reach out to Stephen Porter, the WISDOT project manager, using the contact information listed on the final slide of this presentation. This presentation will describe the purpose and need of the project. Next, we will provide an overview of the alternatives considered and their anticipated impacts. Lastly, we will discuss the project timeline and how to provide your input. We value your feedback as we finalize the design. The project will improve safety, reduce traffic congestion, and accommodate past and future growth at the US 18151 and West Verona Avenue Epic Lane interchange. The limits for the project are highlighted in red on the graphic. The westbound limits are from the Wisconsin 69 on-ramp to the off-ramp for the West Verona Avenue and Epic Lane intersection. The eastbound limits are from Epic Lane to the eastbound on-ramp bridge over US 18151. The project needs are centered around development on the west side of the city of Verona that has led to significant traffic growth. As seen in the picture, traffic volumes during the AM peak exceed the capacity of the US 18151 off-ramp for the West Verona Avenue and Epic Lane intersection. Traffic volumes at this location have grown 75% since 2012 and are anticipated to continue to grow as more development is planned. The existing single-lane exit to this off-ramp causes traffic to extend back onto US 18151, which presents safety concerns due to the speed differential between slower exiting traffic and faster through traffic on US 18151. In the PM peak, southbound traffic on Epic Lane and Northern Lights Road heading to the eastbound on-ramp to US 18151 causes backups on Epic Lane and Northern Lights Road. As seen in this picture, the southbound traffic on Northern Lights Road can back up over a half mile beginning at the intersection with West Verona Avenue. Traffic volumes at this location have grown 72% since 2012 and are also anticipated to continue to grow as more development is planned. Two alternatives were considered to address the congestion and safety concerns at these locations. The first alternative includes no improvements beyond routine maintenance to the roadway. This alternative would not address the traffic and safety needs previously mentioned. However, as for all WISDOT projects, the reason for considering a no-build alternative is to provide a baseline for comparison to the other alternatives. The second alternative consists of multiple capacity improvements to reduce congestion. For the AM peak, an auxiliary lane is proposed that would extend from the westbound on-ramp from Wisconsin 69 to the off-ramp for the West Verona Avenue and Epic Lane intersection. This auxiliary lane would remove vehicles from the US 18151 through lanes that are backed up waiting to take the off-ramp. Removing these vehicles from the through lanes helps to reduce conflicts between the through and exiting vehicles, which are traveling at different speeds. The second part of this improvement would shift the existing westbound off-ramp for West Verona Avenue and Epic Lane further south and add a second exit lane. This would allow more vehicles to exit US 18151 via the off-ramp. Together, these improvements would help reduce the backup that occurs in the AM peak during the work week. Improvements would also be considered to assist with the PM peak congestion that occurs southbound on Epic Lane through the US 18151 and West Verona Avenue Epic Lane intersection. The first of these improvements would include adding a second southbound lane on Epic Lane to allow for two southbound through lanes through the US 18151 and West Verona Avenue Epic Lane intersection. The second of these improvements would include adding a second lane to the eastbound on-ramp from West Verona Avenue, Epic Lane, to the existing on-ramp bridge over US 18151. The addition of both lanes would allow for a higher capacity of vehicles to travel through the West Verona Avenue and Epic Lane intersection to the eastbound US 18151 on-ramp. To construct these improvements, temporary closures and detours would be required. A single lane closure would be required on westbound US 18151 within the project limits. The lane would only be closed during off-peak hours to help maintain traffic flow. Additionally, a temporary ramp closure and detour would be anticipated at the westbound off-ramp to the West Verona Avenue and Epic Lane intersection. The closure would occur for 2 to 3 nights, with the ramp opening back up during daytime hours. Lastly, the westbound on-ramp from Wisconsin 69 would also be closed and detoured for approximately 2 weeks. Additional details about temporary closures and detours will be shared prior to construction. Closures are also expected to occur along the Military Ridge State Trail, a bike path for commuters and recreationists. The closure would be required to extend a nearby culvert in order to accommodate the new auxiliary lane. During the closure, trail users would be detoured as shown on the map to the right. Barriers and signage would also be posted to assist with this detour. Some right-of-way and wetland impacts are also anticipated as a result of the necessary culvert extension and overhead signage modifications. Right-of-way will only be necessary via a temporary limited easement in order to complete the improvements. Impacted wetlands will be mitigated through coordination with the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources. As you can see from this project timeline, we are currently seeking input on the proposed improvements. Any input received by February 7th, 2022 will be incorporated into the final environmental document. Final design for the improvements will continue into this spring, with construction anticipated from April 2022 to August 2022. Prior to construction occurring, notices will be provided to the public. Thank you for taking the time to view this presentation and learn about the project. Public involvement is an important part of the process, and your feedback can be submitted by email, phone, or by mail using the comment form found on the project website.